And welcome into the Monday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live this morning from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. Joe, how we doing? What's going on?
Doing okay, clean shave. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's going to freak people out. Doing good.
You're here to freak people out today on a Reaction Monday.
Well, there's plenty to be freaked out about. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Throughout the
Don't
show.
want to let that beard get in the way of these takes,
no,
man. Get them right out.
Get that removed. We don't want any obstacles in the way. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Doing just fine, thanks. It's a nice weekend. Beautiful weather. Got some stuff outside, hung out at the pool for a few hours. But, yeah, watched some of the game last night, off and on throughout the weekend. But doing just fine, thanks. Should be another fun show, huh?
Should be.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, should be.
Depending on your definition of fun.
Well, I would like to point out again, Ian, as we did last week, the Titans have won again. That's
2-0, baby.
2-0
2-0.
in the preseason.
What do you want?
So another W for the Tennessee Titans.
Stacking them.
Which brings what? Is our record in preseason over the last 3 years? What is it now? Like 7-1 or something like that?
It's definitely 6-1. Well, no.
It's something like that. Maybe 8 now.
So wait, so Callahan was 5-1, so you're right.
Yeah, I think it's 7-1.
Yeah. So Callahan was 5-1. The Titans are freaking preseason monsters.
I mean, they got to be the best preseason team in the league.
Tell me who's won 7 of 8.
Yeah.
Is there anybody out there, huh?
So I guess we'll start there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted. The Fox 17 broadcast right now is going through the temperatures right now, and it's like 63 Nashville, 62 Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, 94. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Anyway.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I think they just got a typo there.
Okay.
I don't think it's 94 in Murfreesboro. So there's a lot to get to from last night's game. Cory Curtis will be with us at 8:15 on the program today. Titans do win 19-16 last night in game number 2 of the preseason, the home opener in the preseason. There is a lot to sort through, and we will welcome your thoughts throughout the show at 615-737-1025, our YouTube chat. Keep them coming all show long. So on the one hand, Joe, I guess let's just start on the quarterback front, because we did not spend a lot of time talking about much else other than the quarterback last week. I mean, I didn't think Cam Ward was bad in this game. Like, I don't look at what happened last night with the starters, and my first takeaway really has anything to do with Cam Ward. It's more the defense, which we'll get into here in just a few minutes. Ward was, same amount of passes he threw in the first game, and 12 passes. He was 8 of 12 in this game, 69 yards. And there are a couple other plays that were out there. Tate had a drop. It wasn't a great throw, but Tate had a drop that he should have come down with. Helm had the play on the sideline where, again, I don't know that it was a great throw, but you got to get your feet down at that point if you're Gunnar Helm on that play. So there was more out there for the Titans starters than we saw on offense. But it was strange because it kind of felt like to me, and tell me what you think on this, like it was either, okay, we're going to just check down, which is basically what Cam Ward did the whole time, or he's going to extend the play. And there was one time he got the ball knocked out of his hand because he was extending the play and had the ball carried behind him. The Helm play, I mean, there was a long play on that play. And it just felt like it was either check down or they were trying this big shot down the field and couldn't connect on it. And there was nothing in between. And they kind of talked about that after the game in terms of, like, right now their offense is check downs, and then they're trying to formulate some big play down the field, and they cannot get to it. And it's just a very interesting spot I think they're in right now in the passing game. Again, I didn't think Ward was bad last night. So I guess if you're looking for some progress, I guess there was some. There were no, like, egregious misses that he had, but still not the performance you're looking for the entire offense against the backups from the Seattle Seahawks in a game setting.
Yeah, I didn't hate Cam Ward last night. I agree on the checkdowns. Now, a couple of them I thought were perfect because it was just like, boom, and they just like left the back, the Pollard play.
Yeah,
like,
wheel
boom,
route.
get it right up. I think that was just a quick swing out there, right? And he, I think there was some kind of bust of the defense, I would think, on that play, but get it out fast a lot of times. Yeah, you'd like to see like an intermediate connection, like a 3-step, but an intermediate, or obviously, something downfield. They had a couple shots. I mean, I do think, I just read Kaharski's piece on the shot to, was it Io Manor? I think so. And he said he could have put it out in front of him. I agree, but also, like, I don't hate the back shoulder there. I don't know, like, on that particular play. In fact, I think it's on, oh no, that's the play to Tate, which, real quick on Tate. Like any NFL receiver to me, you could have put that an inch lower. But any NFL receiver you'd hope makes that play. The guy who everybody raves about his catch radius and about his big hand, like, that's right. Don't you have to catch him? I put that more on Tate. And on the, that was a PI on the play to Io Manor. I thought that they missed. Again, like the back shoulder can be really effective on a play like that. Now they're showing the helm thing on ESPN, and he's getting hit. He's going out. It's one of those Cam plays. He did say after the game, and I agree, it's like, just put it a little bit. Yes, Helm could have done better with his feet, but Cam also could have given him a little bit more room with the throw. So they're just off. But overall, like was it the response, the Cam response to the first week, which was bad, that you were hoping for? Like, oh, there you go. No, but that's fine, especially with, as Salah talked about, it's good to remind yourself, because people were talking about Tate, right? Like Tate hasn't done anything in 2 games. Like they're going to scheme to get people the ball. Right now they're running the base plays. It's like run the play, and then they're going to be in games and they're going to be like, okay, like here, here's the matchup we want. Here, it's totally different. Now you still have to execute. You have to throw better. You have to catch better. All those things. But I didn't hate Cam. Last night. I think it was a fine night of work for him, and I thought it was a decent night of work for the one's O-line, but against backups. And that's the thing. This whole game was against, the Seattle basically played like none of their good players.
The whole game was against backups. And again, we could talk about the line, but the line had a 4th and 1 play where you got to pick up a yard, and they got overrun and mauled by a backup defensive lineman. Like, so it's, like Cam wasn't on his back or anything, but like, it's still like, I understand the not having game plan stuff, but the fact that they have struggled as much as they have struggled against San Francisco and Seattle's backups, to me, is not good, whether you're game planning for stuff or not.
Yeah, they might stink. They might. Well, and especially, the defense, that was just atrocious. That was
horrific.
Just atrocious plays. I've got lists of like what I considered good and bad last night, which we can get into at any point or not.
Sure.
I can keep it to myself too. It's fine if people would prefer. It might be better that way. But yeah, like the safeties. Continue to be a little concerned about Amani Hooker.
Yep.
We've seen him play a lot of football. He's been out there for a lot of years and not looking great. And Winston, he wouldn't lay it out, but it seems pretty obvious to me that on the bus that was Winston and that that's his guy. They were matching at that point, and so he let him go. So, and I think what Salah said after was like, actually, I'm glad that one happened, because that's one of those like, okay, here we go. Like this cannot happen in a real game. Here's what you guys have to do. Here's the communication. Here's so that's fine. The run play was just like, are you kidding me? The linebackers and the safeties. I understand they blocked well and they got the seam up front, which also it's too bad, like against Jeff and those guys. Jeff had a couple loud plays, but there were also a few plays where I'm like, man, he got blocked pretty well on that play by the backup. But the linebackers and safeties on that play, terrible.
Yeah, the defensive performance, I think certainly the headliner last night of your concern if you're a Titans fan. Again, it's Drew Lock leading the team up and down the field, and you're giving up a 69-yard run on the play. Just that can't happen. The 70-yard run can't happen in general. It certainly can't happen against what at that point I believe is Seattle's third running back and their backup offensive line. So that part of it headlines the concern last night. But I mean, you're talking about after one quarter with your starters against Seattle's backups, you're down 16-3. I mean, that's got to be at least a yellow flag, if not a red flag. It's got to at least be a yellow flag last night if you're the Titans. Like, and look, people are going to bring it up today, and that's fine. Like, apparently the joint practice went well for the Titans. Jeffrey Simmons was fired up after the joint practice about the way the defense played against that offense. And, Cam Ward in the offense made some plays in the joint practice. But this is, again, where I say I really just don't care about practice. I don't. Like, if you can't translate it over to a game, it doesn't mean anything to me. And I get it's a preseason game, so it's not the same. But right now, we've watched the Titans play in two game-like settings with their starters, and it has been underwhelming to this point. And they won, so they're 2-0 in the preseason, but I think there's some real concern there if you're a Titans fan. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. That's where we start today. Your thoughts on last night's performance against Seattle. We'll take your thoughts throughout the show. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025.
They need to change the graphic, man.
Yeah, the Fox 17 Murfreesboro graphics throwing me off. It's 30 degrees warmer in Murfreesboro than it is anywhere else.
I mean, he's got to be looking at it and being like, guys, can we? Because it was a little nice and cool this morning.
I woke up this morning. It was 59 degrees at my house. I was like,
ooh, that's sleeping weather.
Feels good out here.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But not in Murfreesboro. Apparently there's a nuclear power plant melting down right now. They get Chernobyl going on in Murfreesboro. 92 degrees.
The YouTube chat.
It's popping.
This was a hard game to watch. Another one, this team sucks. Another one, this team is garbage. It's not going well on the YouTube chat right now. Keep those thoughts coming at 615-737-1025. Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Jared in Spring Hill to the program. Jared, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I guess it's the preseason for the weatherman in Murfreesboro, too, and it just don't matter. One thing that really stood out to me last night, I'm hitting on the fact where I think Robert Saleh just said stuff to say stuff. So after his team came out at halftime, the reporter said that he wanted to see clear communication and that he saw that today from his defense. And so there's two big plays that stand out to me where there was lack thereof communication. And if he is this defensive coach, how is that satisfying? I understand there's learning moments, but again, take something, to me, it's just not taking anything seriously. And I don't know what, and we can tell, or at least I can tell, that the preseason games don't matter to him, because I saw on the opposite sideline, it looks like Mike McDonald is just really amped. It looks like he's staring through the players when he's talking. I mean, this guy is locked in. And Saleh and him and Jeff and him and Cam and all these people are just sitting over there on the sideline cutting up. Where does this guy have all this street credibility as a losing head coach to not take it seriously? Like, as a fan, we've waited this whole time to see something on the field. And you're not taking the opportunity to show us as the fans that you can go out there and execute what you want to execute, and him still using the excuse to me that there's no game planning, there's no what we're trying to accomplish. How do you assess your players of who can and can't do what you want them to do if you don't go out there with something that you would like to accomplish and how you would like to attack a defense and or an offense? Yep. And the logic and the rationale just feels so like Callahan 2.0 already. And again, there's not even the offense. So again, I know it's preseason and it doesn't matter to Saleh. We can tell, but it matters to me. Dang it. Tighten up.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. Look, I would argue this. I mean, the preseason, I think, clearly matters to Saleh because he keeps playing all his starters, right? Yeah. I mean, they're not playing well, but he keeps playing all his starters. So I would argue that the preseason matters to the coaching staff. I mean, look, I don't necessarily want my coaching staff all that concerned about the result of a preseason game because it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if they win or lose the preseason game, but I am concerned about the performance, right? Like, game plan or no game plan, when you're a starting NFL unit, if you're a starting NFL offense or a starting NFL defense and you're going up against another team's backups, you ought to be able to handle that. I don't care whose backups they are. I don't care if they're Seattle's backups or if they're Cleveland's backups. You ought to be able to handle it when you're a starting NFL unit. And that's probably the most concerning thing of the first two games for me is they played San Francisco's backups and Seattle's backups, and they've struggled to the degree in which they've struggled. That would be the most concerning thing to me. Yeah.
To the call, first of all, I mean, I agree with Jared. The communication definitely on the pass touchdown was that's the definition of bad communication. That wasn't the case on the run play. The run play is people have to run fit. They have to make plays. Yep. Again, this is where you don't want to talk out of turn because you think you saw something, but it looked to me like Cody Barton overran it. And I don't think Cody Barton looked very good, by the way, overall last night. And I understand that Anthony Hill's it's deep into the game and who the practice squad is out there, but I did like his drop and I liked his play. I like how he moves. I'm just saying I think at some point I'm seeing a takeover there, but yeah, the stuff about the side. I mean, whatever, man. Like, okay, Mike McDonald looked like he was. I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of that stuff matters. It's performance that matters, and it wasn't good. Like you said, you stink to this extent and make these mistakes against backups. There were some good performances, but the defense in particular, like that's kind of a. Since we started seeing them play against other teams, I know, again, they had a good practice. And I don't, again, like all we're talking about is practice for the most part. So it means something. But in the game setting, you want to see more than this. I also say, someone in the YouTube chat was talking about the Tate Ward connection. So I will, this is where to me practice matters some. Remember a couple of years ago, we were talking about Levis Ridley all the time, right? Because in practice, they couldn't get it together. In practice, they had days where it was just like, they just can't connect. And as we saw, that went into the season, and that's not the case in practice with Ward and Tate. I'm not as worried about that. Like, I mean, Tate needs to make the play that he had in front of him last night. But I would say, like, that would be one of those where practice should tell you that they've got something going. Obviously you want to see it in a game setting. Some of the other stuff, just practice is what it is. And unfortunately, we have another week of this.
We do. We got another week. Let's head back to the phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Welcome in Kim in Green Hills. Kim, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, sir. I'm an apologist for Will Levis. He drove the winning touchdown with the two starting guards sitting on the bench.
Okay.
I did not have on my bingo card. We should take away that Will Levis.
Let me pull up the stats here.
Will Levis did win he did have the winning touchdown drive. I mean, that's not wrong. That's not inaccurate.
4 of 9 for 15 yards. Okay.
Hey, I love this.
I didn't know that was possible. But 4 of 9 for 15 yards.
Oh, it's possible. So that is what is that?
I would really like to declare an edict. I mean, now that we've played 2 of 3 preseason games, so I could pretty much tell you there ain't nobody that's going to be calling for Will Levis around the league. So I would like to just go ahead and maybe just put a moratorium on the Will Levis conversation.
No starting guards.
Yeah.
I ranked the SEC quarterbacks last night on Twitter, which you didn't see. You would have enjoyed it.
Was he in there? Is he going to go back?
I ranked the former SEC QB performances in Nashville last night. 1, Drew Lock. 2, Hendon Hooker with possibly the throw of the game to seal the game. Thank you. Oh, we finally let Hendon Hooker throw the ball, and guess what he does? He throws a freaking dot. Okay. 3, Will Levis, not the worst, and 4, Jalen Milroe. So there you go. Lock, Hooker, Levis, Milroe. That's my ranking.
Yeah, Milroe didn't look very good last night.
Milroe, like that pick was just like, just don't throw it behind him. He's right there.
In all seriousness, on the Levis front, if you're a Will Levis apologist,
you are.
Go watch the last 2 preseason games, and I think he's gotten worse. I'm not kidding. I think he's gotten worse.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he does not look. He does not look comfortable. He does not look good. He made a few throws that were like, I think on target to covered receivers, but no, does not look good. Now, like you said, we were texting her in the game, and it was like in the one play, it's like, oh wow, Levis setting up deep and just getting all ready to scan the field, and he's buried. Yeah, just not good. 4 for 9 for 15, I believe, is 1.5 per attempt. I think that's right. I think it's 1.5 yards per attempt. Cam Ward 5.7, by the way, which also is bad, but like 1.5.
Yeah,
special.
It's not very good. On the secondary front, like they had the miscommunication on the one play that led to the deep touchdown. Flott gets called for an illegal contact that, frankly, I thought that was a terrible call. Like I thought the illegal contact was bad. And they showed the replay of it. They brought Pereira in to talk about it. And he was like, I don't know if I'd have called that one. They're like, I didn't think that was very good. So I don't know that it was a great night on the officials front. But again, when you're talking Drew Lock, I think at one point Drew Lock was like 9 for 9 for like 80 something yards. And it's like, guys, it's Drew Lock out here. What are we doing? Can we get in front of the pass at some point? Can we get some pressure on him? Like, I think there's a lot to be, if you're a Titans fan, you look at it and say, what does this mean? Like, it's preseason football. It's a limited sample size. It's still, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like the starters are in the game for that long. When it comes down to it, you're talking 3 drives. But what does it all mean at the end of it when they've struggled to this degree against backups? And that's where I think you're at right now. Is it's not panic. Like, if you're solid, I don't know that you're sitting here just totally panicking today. But I do think it's now 2 games worth of concern about, okay, whatever the disconnect is between practice and getting ready for these games and the preseason, you got to get that figured out by the time the next one rolls around.
I do want to read this text on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHound.com. It says there are plenty of observations to be made here, but the one that matters the most to me is Cam Ward is awful. His lack of accuracy is shocking. He couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a snow shovel? I have never heard that one. A bull in the ass with a snow shovel.
I like it. It's good.
See,
That's a new one.
But I got to say, I think you're a little bit of a Ward are you doing if that's your primary takeaway. Not that, of course, some people are like, I don't care. He's the number 1 pick. I want him to be amazing. Okay. I mean, I get that. I didn't think his lack of accuracy was shocking last night. And maybe he's lowered the bar a little bit, but, I think that the check down thing is definitely, like you said earlier, it's like here and there, it'd be nice to see.
There's got to be a happy medium.
Yeah, something in the middle of the field, some intermediate stuff. I mean, I thought you saw a little bit of the Wan'Dale Robinson connection. That's going to happen a lot. He's going to get the ball a lot quickly, and it's going to give you 4 yards, 5 yards.
To your ADOT, I guess stats here, average depth of target per True Media. Ward has upped his ADOT on completed passes to 1.2 for the preseason.
That's good.
Average depth of target is 1.2 yards downfield
on completed passes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not going to work in the regular season.
Yeah, you gotta stretch it out a little bit.
Of the 13 passes he has completed, his longest has traveled 6 yards in the air.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but again, I'm not trying to be a total psych ward Cam do here, but catch the ball, Tate. Catch that ball. And it's unfortunate that the helm play didn't work out. I think that's probably like a 50-50 blame on that one.
I would agree with that, but it's also like the most concerning play to me last night from Ward, if we want to boil it down to one, was the play where he just takes forever and he thinks he's got all day back there and he decides to run.
Yeah.
And he just leaves the ball behind him. Like, the ball security with him is just terrible. Like, frankly, his ball security is objectively awful, and it's got to get better.
Yeah, that's one that's like, hey man, like you're gonna have 3, 4, 5 fumbles this year that you shouldn't have if you're gonna do it that.
Well, it's also like, how fast do you think you are? Because he just felt like he had forever back there, and he like I hate to tell you, man, you're not that fast. Like, you're gonna get caught by some of these guys.
Like, he looks a little bit faster to me, which is still not fast.
No, 615-737-1025, our phone number. A lot more of your thoughts to get to. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Thomas says, you could tell they were resting guys. There's no way Pollard's not in on the 4th and 1 during the season. Spears is too small. They got it if Pollard was in there. Don't worry.
Well, I saw an Easton Freeze tweet, which I agree with too. It's like, also, if it's in the season, you're probably just sneaking your quarterback. You're not going to do that in a preseason game.
I would hope not.
So,
Although I would still say,
get the yard.
The yard.
Get the
against the Seahawks backups, please.
Yes,
That'd be great.
that is true. There's no Leonard Williams out there.
did not take place that day. I mean, so I'm looking around for starters. Like, there's not a ton of positives from last night. I mean, Io Manor beat the guy pretty clean on the play, and then I'm with you. Like, I didn't necessarily think it was a horrible throw from Ward on the one where it's back in. Like, first off, you could definitely make the argument it was pass interference on that play that did not get called.
Yeah.
So, in live time, it looked close. Then you look at the replay, and he got there, I think, a little bit early. So probably should have been a flag thrown on that play. Still would have probably liked to see the ball a little bit out in front of him, see what would happen there. But, I mean, Pollard looked good. I mean, Pollard, in all seriousness, and he's barely gotten the ball so far in the preseason, but he's looked pretty darn good when he's had it. I mean, he had the 33-yard catch last night. He got a couple decent runs, broke off the 9-yarder. So, like, he's barely touched the football, but he's looked pretty good to this point, which has been good to see. I mean, I don't need to see him much in, like, training camp practice, but, it does feel like at least the Titans, other than the 4th and 1 play, have been able to run the ball a little bit when their starting group has been in there, and that's going to be important throughout the year.
Do you want my goods and bads?
Sure. Why not?
I mean, nobody on the text line or the YouTube chat have asked for these, but you're going
to get them.
You're going to get them. So let's see. So goods. Joey Sly, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
That dude has responded.
Get excited.
Big time. Hey, I mean, you know what? I think they're going to have to be taking some long field goals this year. I mean, you get to the 45, you're starting to think about Joey Sly. And you know what? Hey, at least you can get some points. Let's see if they can get into the 20s at some point. Yeah, I'm with it. Pollard was on my list. I mentioned earlier, I like the Anthony Hill pick. I like how Cedric Gray was flying around. I like how he looked. I mentioned Hendon Hooker. Absolute dot. Oh, hi. I'm Hendon Hooker. I almost won the Heisman. I can pass a football. Would you let me pass ever in practice or in a game or I don't know? And they finally let him pass. And what did he do? Absolutely clutch. Jermaine Johnson, I thought really on a couple of his rush reps, I thought looked good. It's limited. It there's not a lot of it, but I thought that looked good. And I thought the starting O-line, like you said, backups, you got to get a yard. They didn't have the running success, but they also, sometimes you have those drives that stall out because whatever. If it's Cam or you want to blame Tate, but you got to make some plays to extend drives. I thought the protection still with the starting O-line was fine. Like, again, backups, but okay, I don't want to see backups, turn it into an accordion, and they didn't. And I still think that Latham looks pretty athletic, and I think the Latham-Carmona side, I mean, when we get into a real game, I think we are going to see some running success running right. I thought a couple of the seams they had seemed to be right behind Carmona, and he's a nice development. And then my last one, of course, the absolute champion of preseason football in Nashville, Julius Chestnut.
Yes.
Monster. You want to hear my bad?
Sure.
Okay, we've already talked about the safeties. My God, the starting safeties. And, I think this is good learning stuff for Winston. Because I think on the long run, I think that was him. And I think on the touchdown, it was him. The touchdown pass, that was a communication. One is like, okay, great learning experience. The other was, you just like the defense. And that was Cody Barton too. Also on my bad list. Yeah. Just the lack of D-line push from the starters, I thought, against a backup offensive line was not good. We've talked about a lot of these. Tate, you got to catch the ball. Catch radius. Amazing. Catch that. Come on. Will Levis was bad. And then Austin Deculus is bad. Actively bad.
I don't know that I need to see him play football again.
I think that, BCD, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, I could see him like being, again, not an ideal swing tackle, but he has got a chance as a swing tackle. Austin Deculus, you do not want to see him on the field at all this year for the Tennessee Titans.
No,
that would be
you
bad.
do not. It would be bad news.
That'd be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, that part of it, you know, I made fun of Levis. I sent you the text, like the first pass he dropped back for, he was like, whoo, I've got all day to just sit back here and look around and throw the ball, to the point where they even talked about it on the broadcast. They're like, yeah, he probably needs to get rid of the ball. I mean, I guess credit to him that he doesn't have, like, you know, PTSD sitting there in the pocket with how much he's been hit out there. So he's courageous. I'll give him that. But I was like, you know, with the Titans starting offensive line, I don't know that I would sit there for that long. Their backups, you could tell, like, they had better stay healthy on the offensive line. I mean, I don't know how good this starting offensive line is going to be. You know, I'm relatively encouraged by what we've seen so far in the preseason. Carmona seems to be a really nice development. Latham feels like he may be taking a big step here. We'll see what happens by the time the regular season comes around. You know, it's pretty clear, though. Like that's just one spot where they cannot have injuries. Whether it's Volson, who is just not good, you know, the tackles, you know, Crenshaw Dixon is certainly better than Deculus is, but they just have to stay healthy on the offensive line.
I do think the interior, it's not as dire. Like, I actually thought, you know, Coogan, again, you got to keep the expectations where they should be. And at that point, who you're playing against. But I thought Coogan and Slater both are okay. But the issues were more at the tackle. But yeah, I think the one's offensive line has a chance. And Salas said last night, he's like, I think our D-line and O-line are going to be pretty freaking good. So, I mean, that's like, there's a lot of coach speak in there with all these guys. But that one, I was like, I raised my eyebrow a little bit. Although this texture says, the lack of awareness in this organization is astounding. I understand this is a preseason, but when is someone going to put a foot in someone's ass and create some urgency from top to bottom? So you're not noticing that they're 2-0? Because I am. What's their record?
I will say, though, like, yeah, I still look at the defensive line, and particularly like Simmons and Franklin Myers. And, like, you know, I got a feeling those guys are going to be pretty good.
Yes.
I don't really necessarily want to hear my head coach talking about how good the defensive line is going to be when you give up a 70-yard run to the third string running back and you get blocked up on the play. It's like, yeah, okay.
There is that. Texture says, Jamar Chase, rookie preseason stats, 1 catch on 5 targets, I guess, for 16 yards. No need to freak out. I'm not freaking out about Carnell Tate.
No. It would be nice to see them put together a pass.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not – yeah, there's some things where you're like, that's just not good. And you really worry. And like Amani Hooker, I'm a little worried. I'm not worried about Carnell Tate. I think he's talented. I think he'll make plays. Yeah, just it'd be good for his confidence and Cam's confidence for in a setting like this, beyond practice, which has been good some days. They've cut their defense up, whatever that means, on some days. But still, I mean, like,
starting to think it means less and less.
Yeah, but they have some chemistry, which I think is clear. But yeah, you just like to see Tate make a couple plays.
Do we think Tate is twitchy enough, for lack of a better term? I'm a little bit worried about the lack of twitchiness and what kind of separation that might kind of give him moving forward. Might take a little bit. Like
he's not a burner.
And, you know, just, I don't want to say lack of explosion, but like, you know, the quick area burst, the twitchiness. I wonder if that's going to create some learning curves as far as like getting open.
I mean, to me, he has to be great by being a great route runner. And then one thing you definitely saw in college with him was like the 50-50 stuff is he won more than off, right? Like he would moss people at times. I think that's what he's got to do, because I think you're right. He's not special in those ways.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Lots more to get to on the Titans front, and we will give away a spot in our Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. It is a Reaction Monday brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. And boys, there's some reaction this morning on the text line, the YouTube chat. Keep them coming.
Woo!
Jay in Clarksville says, they say iron sharpens iron. When it comes to Cam versus the secondary, it's marshmallow sharpening marshmallow.
Okay, that's pretty good. Just two blobs just kind of rubbing against each other.
Clip it.
Jay. You made it happen, Jay.
One
You made it
texter
happen.
says, here we go again. Same song, different year. Completely disgusted that we're not even competing against backup players. It's unbelievable that they still can't get it right. The morale is low on the text line this morning, Joe. Very low.
There might be a little bit of overreaction, but this is where like people come into jobs. Robert Saleh could hear some of this stuff and be like, "Oh my God!" Like we've played 2 preseason, but hey, man, you got to understand
It's deeper than that. Yeah,
you got to understand what you're walking into. And I'm looking through the history of this franchise again. We talked about it, but I just forgot. So, I mean, we're looking at the worst stretch was after they had their really good teams and they fired Bud fired Bum Phillips, and they were just atrocious. They went 2-14 and 3-13. They went 1-8 in the strike season of '82. I mean, we're looking at certainly to me, we're looking at the 5th straight losing season, which has not happened since the early '80s for this franchise. But also, you got back-to-back 3s, and what is this looking like? 5?
I don't.
Are we looking at 5?
I don't know, man.
I mean, I hope we can we have these clips and we're sitting there and now November just laughing at it like, see, if ever you could point to a preseason that didn't matter, this would be it. But they've got some deficiencies.
I was sitting there on the couch yesterday watching this all go down, Ian. And about I think it was about the time that the 3rd string running back for Seattle was like 75% of his way to the end zone. I was like, they're going to lose the Jets, aren't
Untouched,
they?
right through the middle.
So they're getting ready to lose the Jets, aren't they? Because that's just going to be, be DEFCON 1 around here.
It can't happen. A nice job of knowing that DEFCON is the lower number is more urgent.
Thanks.
Yeah, that can't happen. That's the crazy thing is all this stuff. I've seen some takes from Titans media, which I would agree with. There's a variety of sort of approaches and outlooks and sunshine levels, And I would agree. Like you can see this team with some of the young players improving and looking a lot different several weeks into the season. I mean, that's true of a lot of teams. You got to win the first game. You have to win the first game. Because like you sit there and Aaron Glenn comes in here with that ragtag group that did get a pick in the preseason game. Yay. 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Comes in and beats you. Oh, like the morale. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the morale will be like in the building. That's on them. They're the people performing.
Yep.
They've got to figure. But outside the building,
I know what it'll be like.
It just, you don't even want
I
to
mean,
know.
that's got a chance to
You
be,
don't want to know.
I hesitate to say the most explosive because, I mean, the Monday we did the show after like the A.J. Brown trade or the Monday we did the show after the Bengals loss in the playoffs.
Even like Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Crushing
Malik
them.
Willis. Yeah. Coming in and doing that, or, Callahan not knowing the rules. I mean, now that I think about it, we've had we've had several explosive Monday shows.
Smorgasbord.
Well, let me tell you, if they lose the Jets, that one's got a chance to be right up there with any of them, Joe. It really does.
Like I'd say, it's like I think we talked last week, rivals like Michigan, Ohio State, put in a period every, we're going to do a Michigan period now.
Yeah.
Maybe start like just do your whole Bears week should just be like pretend you're playing the Jets. Like start now, okay? Like just I don't know what they do that's similar, but just prepare for the Jets right now. A-Dub's like Jets gonna smoke them week 1. I mean the Jets. If the Jets come in here and smoke them, I might quit. I just might walk away. I don't know if I could handle it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like that's what makes the offensive part of this to me so disappointing because the defense again, it was clearly like the one that you look at last night. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, how are you letting this happen against Seattle's backups? But like this next preseason game, I need to see some level of pulse from the starting offense because it's just been uninspiring so far. That's probably the best way to put it. It's not panic. There's no necessarily correlation from preseason to regular season football. We talk about this all the time. But it's just been very uninspiring. And that, I think, is probably the best word for me to look at it right now. You just look at it and you're just like, okay. Well, so you've not really gotten anything done out there in a game so far.
Should they consider maybe game planning more on offense?
I mean,
just to change the taste in the mouth here compared to, I guess Salas said post-game yesterday, we're not game planning. We're not scheming guys open.
Yeah.
People asking about the Tate, lack of completions. Should they, try and sprinkle in anything? Is it worth it?
I mean, I don't think you're going to do anything different than what everybody does, right? Like you're trying to run basic stuff and you're trying to evaluate players. I mean, the coaches have this other stuff they have to worry about too, right? But I will say to your question, I would say maybe a couple players like, you know what, let's get Tate a couple here. Let's get Tate a couple plays and get him out there with the ball in his hands and just make him feel better. Because everybody, I mean, if you're Carnell Tate right now, you're a good player. You're going to be out there this year. You're going to make plays. But he knows people are saying you haven't made any plays, and he knows he hasn't made any plays, and you got urgency, and then you start pressing. I mean, that's human nature. Yeah, it's all human beings. So I would do that. I would try to get Tate the ball a little bit.
And then the kind of like the flip side of the game planning stuff is like it's not necessarily like, it's not like Seattle's throwing the house at you either. Even with back, like they're not game planning either, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're
they might throw pressures, but right, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think you change that. But yeah, you're right. It's uninspired, and you would just like to see simple plays made, just more plays made.
Thomas
what it's
saying
about.
Sam
Darnold
Darnold said they game plan for the Titans. Sam Darnold didn't play in the game. Like, so what game planning did they do for the Titans?
He had a nice interview. People were mad that they were.
It was a long interview.
It was a long interview.
Fans were not happy that it was during the Titans' possession there, where they kept interviewing Leonard Williams and Sam Darnold and just a one-on-one interview fest. While
I didn't think it was ever going to stop.
Titans are running plays.
You're doing a 30 for 30 on the sideline over here. What's going on?
By the way, I know that we will talk about the Cleveland Browns later, but did you see the Shador interview?
Yeah.
Like, I watched the entire thing. First of all, the interview itself was like, oh, my God, I love this dude. I'm sorry. But also, like, it was like 8 minutes long in the game. It was like she just kept asking questions. It was like, wow, you're just going to keep going. Okay.
I mean, she interviewed Simmons for a decent amount of time, but I didn't think she was ever going to let Darnold go. I was like, Darnold's going to be like a guest analyst on the game.
So, Sam, and the third string, who are your favorite guys so far in the preseason?
By the way, quick aside, I don't know that I need to see like Julian Edelman on broadcast, like just let him host his podcast and then it'll be fine.
Yeah. The whole like, hey,
I don't know why everybody
Thompson and Julian Edelman, they brought like 20 people for this broadcast.
And it's also like, I get it. Brady does it, but like, I don't need everybody who's played for the Patriots to just like immediately hop on a broadcast and start talking about Bill Belichick stories. It's like, yeah, we get it, guys. You guys used to play for the Patriots. I understand. Like, I don't need to hear about like, Bill told me how to catch a putt one time, and you catch the putt with your feet. It's like, okay, cool.
I will say that if this is going to happen, all of you need to make a Jordan Hudson joke. That should be a rule.
Yeah, exactly. 615-737-1025, our phone number. We got a spot to give away in the Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League. We're going to do this in different ways throughout the week. Some of it will be trivia questions. We have a lot of other ways that we're going to try to give some of these spots away. Right now, it's luck of the draw, baby. Caller number 6 at 615-737-1025, our phone number. Caller number 6, 615-737-1025. Ian will get your name and your information so we can contact you about the Fantasy Football League. But caller 6 wins the second spot in the Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League. 615-737-1025. We got more coming up on the Titans. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. Presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Get thicker grass, better color, and fewer bare spots with turf application. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Cory Curtis from News 2 will join us at 8:15 on the program today. We'll get his thoughts on preseason game number 2 between the Titans and the Seattle Seahawks last night. A lot of your thoughts on the text line. By the way, we appreciate the interest in the Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League. Again, we'll have spots to give away every day this week, and we will do so in different ways. But congratulations to Donald, who has won the second spot in the Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League.
Donnie, come on in, Donnie. The water's warm.
Shelby and Donald are the winners so far.
Okay.
So they have joined you, me, Ian, and Brennan Rexrode so far in the league.
And not Garski, because he's afraid. He got smoked last year.
He did.
He got embarrassed last year, and he's tucked his tail and crawled away.
A lot of your thoughts on the text line. We've talked a lot about the starters. It did not go very well for the starters last night against the Seahawks. You know, somebody asked about like 6 wide receiver. Is there anybody separating themselves right now when it comes to that competition? I mean, Strep had a touchdown catch last night to get called back because of a penalty. So I know a lot of Titans fans disappointed to see that last night.
Slater?
I believe that was Slater.
Yeah. Hold? Slater hold?
I think so. Now I'm trying to remember. But yeah. There was a play, Levis had a rollout to the right. He was rolling to his right, threw the ball low, but still a play you'd like to see Bryce Oliver come up with that he did not on that play. So basically, to answer your question in the game so far, the answer is no. I mean, nobody's really standing out to me. I think an interesting question that we'll probably get into a little bit deeper with Kuharski coming up on Wednesday that we talked about a couple of weeks ago is what are the chances that they don't carry a 6 wide receiver? Like, could they just go 5? So I don't know. I mean, that seems risky because, one guy goes down, then you're really light there all of a sudden. But I wonder what that looks like because Kuharski seemed to think that there is at least a chance that maybe that's the way they go. Anybody in particular to you stand out? What do you make of the idea of, like, could the Titans go 5 at wide receiver?
Yeah, I think it's just like Bryce Oliver's value on special teams or possibly somebody else. But that's it. That 6th guy obviously has to be a big, big part of special teams.
Yep.
So it kind of, it almost is like whatever the position is, it's an extra back, it's an extra safety, it's an extra receiver, it's a special teams player. But they've got their group of 5. It's a pretty good group of 5. When you're, at this point, I would say Jim DK is probably your 5th receiver because I feel like Iomanner is and this is more based on practice than anything we've seen in preseason games, but Iomanner has had a good camp. So I think he's going to push for some snaps, and DK right now is a returner who's going to play a little bit of receiver, and if nobody gets hurt, you're fine. Mason Kinsey, by the way, who's been a tremendous preseason superstar for the Titans for many years. I mean, Julius Chestnut had a huge run last night. That hold was not necessary on Mason Kinsey, but he committed it.
I mean, Chestnut's
he's
got to be getting up there in terms of like all-time preseason carries for the Titans, isn't he?
Well, it's like the Crash Davis minor league home run record.
Yeah.
Like Julius Chestnut is like a Hall of Fame preseason player for the Titans. And the Titans have a ring of preseason honor. If so, Julius Chestnut
He's got to be in there.
Is a contender.
We saw some more of Mitch Trubisky last night as the backup. We talked about Levis and Hooker. Trubisky got in there 7 of 9, 49 yards, 5.4 yards per attempt there. So, like, that's kind of the other thing. The starters and what you're doing in that part of it matters the most. But, I mean, you're talking about, with the exception of Hendon Hooker last night, who got in there, threw 2 passes, was 2 of 2 for 35 yards, averaged 17.5 per. I mean, I think Ward was 5.8 in his average per pass last night. Trubisky was 5.4, and Levis was 1.7. So
Oh,
it's like
1.7. I apologize. I said 1.5 earlier.
That's what ESPN says is 1.7.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust my math.
All of that's not good. Like you got to get that average up in terms of like the yardage downfield. Again, Tate comes down with the ball, that average goes up. Helm gets another foot in bounds, that average goes up. So you got to keep all that in mind. I think what Ian threw out there earlier, like the average depth of target is, we've talked about Ward taking what's in front of him and what the defense gives him. And I think there's a lot of value to that. I also it's just like anything else when it comes to quarterback, there's a balance to it. Like you're not going to win very many games in the NFL if you can't provide some level of threat in the intermediate to deep part of the field, right? Like you've got to have some level of production there. And if it's just, check down Charlie all over the place, well, that doesn't serve anybody any purpose either, right? Like there's a balance between always hunting for the big play that can sometimes get you into trouble and, just checking down all the time. So you got to find a way to strike that balance if you're Dable, Ward in this offense moving forward.
Yeah, and look, you've got to, after the first game we talked about him being sped up. I think that was on display a few times. You've got to, he does of course he'll have those plays, and it was almost a sweet one with Helm last night, but can you get some play action going where you get a clean pocket where maybe he gains some confidence in an offensive line, and then you can do a little bit more just straight up stand in the pocket and step into a throw that's an intermediate or a deep throw. Just haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and there was a throw, they just showed it on ESPN. They were breaking down Ward's performance last night. There was one across the middle where Tate's relatively covered on the play. Like there's not a whole lot of room there. But Ward did just kind of sail it on that play. And it's just like, okay. All right. So there's still clearly a work in progress there in the intermediate to deep part of the field where they've just connected on basically nothing so far in the preseason. And they haven't tried a ton. I get that. So there's an open mind that you've got to leave there. But that's a part of the offense that you got to connect some on moving forward. Let's head back to the phone line. Welcome in Tim to the program. Tim, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. Hey, when do we start, I guess, worrying about Cam Ward? Because we're not seeing a lot of progress.
Well, I would say I need to see what it looks like in the regular season, right? Like there's –
I mean, we're playing against second-teamers right now.
I understand that, but we need to see – I mean, if he comes out there against the Jets in the first game of the regular season and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, nobody's going to care that they didn't move the ball against the backups in the preseason.
Yeah. I know it sounds like – yeah. I mean, I know it sounds like an excuse. Go ahead.
What scares me is the first string on all these other teams are a lot better than their second string. That's why they're second string.
Look, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely concerned about the lack of production against these backups. I guess I'm just saying, like you're asking, when's the point to start really worrying? Like we got to get to the games that matter. And if it's as bad as it looks like it might be, then it ain't going to take long to worry, I don't think. Like it's going to be pretty quick into the season if it doesn't get a whole lot better.
And I guess part of the reason I even asked that is the stuff they talked about last year that he needed working on and the stuff they talked about this year that he needs to work on, I don't see it's any better.
Well, I appreciate the call, Tim. I don't know. Like the accuracy was the big thing after the first game. I don't know that accuracy was a huge issue last night, but the thing that still kind of bothers me a little bit based on what I've seen in the 2 preseason game, accuracy stuff aside, because I think that's always going to be a question. There's still just a whole lot of drifting and trying to buy time. And every now and then he's going to make a spectacular play doing that. But he's also like in the midst of all that, how many of those like intentional grounding plays are you going to take? Or, you're escaping, you're trying to run away from somebody last night where you could just throw the ball away. And you got the ball holding it like it's like a loaf of bread behind you, and somebody swats. And they made the point, Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma made the point on the broadcast, like Ward on the play where he got stripped was lucky that the ball went out of bounds. I mean, he could have just as easily bounced and gone back the other way and been a turnover. And that was a problem with him last year too, is protecting the football. So there are definitely still some things that you looked at with him last year and said, well, he's got to figure out how to clean that up. that I'm worried about haven't necessarily been cleaned up heading into this year.
Yeah. Yeah. That, all the stuff we talk about all the time. Accuracy, is it good enough? Like you said, I thought last night was fine from him. He had the one that he sailed in terms of accuracy. I'm saying, I think Tate's got to catch that one, but it's not great. I mean, to answer the question, the day he was drafted, I mean, it's right. I mean, that's what it is. You're worried, like he was the number 1 overall pick. And yes, I mean, it looked like Dan Orlovsky just went up there and again sort of lamented Cam's performance. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he said, but he didn't look like he was like spraying sunshine all over the screen. So the time to worry is now. But yes, he can absolutely come out. Texter says, is it possible the offense just calling conservative plays, trying not to put anything on tape? Well, again, they're not game planning. So they're running their base offense. They're calling plays. Let's try this play. Let's try that play. In a game, it's way more intentional. It's way more specific than that of who you're playing. And you're trying to, the biggest thing with an offensive coordinator is, I know that guy sucks on that defense. We're going to somehow find a way to get my guy against that guy.
Yeah.
And that's constantly what you're doing in a real game. So yeah, it does mean something. It is an excuse to a point, but you still have these plays that are part of the offense that are base plays, and you need to make, you need to make them. You need to block, you need to throw and catch. And I thought last night was better for sure, but it was not the response that, that people were hoping to see after the really bad first preseason game.
We'll take your thoughts on Cam Ward's performance last night, on the Titans starters. How concerned are you about the defense based on what you've seen? Take your thoughts on all of it at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows, exclusive content, and a chat that is flowing on the program today. A lot of panic going on the text line, the YouTube chat.
So Jay in Clarksville, fantastic marshmallow, sharpening marshmallow. But then he said Cam's too slow for play action work. I'm like, he's too slow to fake a handoff, set up in the pocket, and throw? He says, yes, to do it convincingly enough to make the defense bite, then reset his body for the throw. Well, no, I mean, the slowest of the slow. Who's the slowest quarterback in the history of the NFL?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts, right now, me at my age, could beat 21-year-old Dan Fouts in a foot race. Like, crush him. Go watch him in play action. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand
Peyton?
What we're talking about here. Yeah, Peyton. Yeah, Peyton. Good God, it's amazing. Like that family. Some that are athletes, they're actually some that are not at all.
Yeah.
You know, is Marshall going to be fast?
I don't know. It's a good question.
We'll find out. I watch more highlights, by the way, just totally off topic of like DGG. Good God,
He's a freak.
He's going to get like 2,000 yards with the balls next year. Like, seriously.
Oh, man. I got one text that says, I'm not going to lie. I don't think Cam played too bad last night. If Gunner catches the ball, which most tight ends in the NFL do, and if Tate catches the ball, which 98.9% of NFL receivers do, then Cam throws for over or close to 100 yards in 3 drives.
I thought Cam was fine last night. I mean, again, like in a vacuum, if you just put last night's game on as a preseason game, sure, got some work in. Maybe an inch slower on the Tate throw, but Tate has to catch it. Maybe a couple inches, away from the sideline on the helm throw.
I certainly don't walk away from last night's game the same way I walked away from the first game of Cam and just being like, good grief, that was a disaster out there.
Exactly. But do you want to see more? Yeah, absolutely. You do. You want to see more. It was not long ago on this program, us and others have talked about how good this defense might be this year. And I understand that John Franklin Myers isn't out there, and I guess Falk didn't play. I'm confused on Falk, but I guess he didn't play last night. So I might have seen a tweet from like days ago that I thought that was him leaving the game last night. So that's good. That's not the full thing, but some of the stuff you saw, like on that run, linebacker safeties, the starting D line. I know, no JFM, but you got 98 out there getting blocked the way they got blocked by backups.
Oh, I'm concerned about
that wasn't great.
That
was the worst part of last night.
Well, and I think, TD's got a piece at ESPN.com today. Like there's the secondary is concerning right now. I mean, and I know, apparently they had a good day in the joint practices, which again, I don't care about.
But it was like it was against Sam Darnold.
Do it in a game.
Which last night
if you can't do it in a game, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like if every time you strap the shoulder pads on and the lights come on, you can't cover anybody, then what does that mean? Like I just the secondary part of it is concerning right now from a variety of fronts. I mean, I'm still, I didn't love the it wasn't a pass interference call. What Flott get called for last night? Illegal contact.
Yeah,
didn't love the illegal contact call on Flott.
That was a free pick.
Yeah,
for them.
I mean, it was a pick that they would have had. It was a terrible throw.
More than it was a good play.
Did not love the call there. But, I mean, you're talking about a coverage bust with Kevin Winston, your safety play. Again, I'm watching Hooker last night, and I'm just like, he just feels a step late to everything. And if that's going to be what it is in the season, I think there's plenty of room for concern on the secondary right now.
Yeah, and you hope there's enough left for Hooker, and you hope that Winston figures it out. If that's the case, okay, then that could be fine. But are you a year away from Winston figured out? Are you a year late on Hooker? Then your last line of defense isn't looking good. We already know Cordell Flott. There's a concern there with him, and just linebacker. I don't know, Cody Barton. I think it's going to happen. My question is, I think it's when, not if, but it might be like well into the season before Anthony Hill. Yeah. I just, Cody Barton is the same what you just said about Hooker. Yeah. Yep. He's there. step late, a couple steps late, a lot.
Yeah. Let's head back to the phone line. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Well, I jumped in late. Is the sky falling? Are you doing like mock draft segments and stuff like that yet, or no?
No mock draft segments, but I will say that people are not happy on the text line.
We get a less starch for arch or whatever. We're getting some of that.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, no, look, dude, it's two things can be true. It could be that nothing looks polished right now, and we're not gonna be good. But also it's the preseason, and it doesn't matter. Drew Lock cannot win more than 3 games for anybody. I don't care what you say. Like, he's not a good quarterback. He managed to look good against us.
But isn't that the concern that I agree with you on him. He's not good, and he looked good against you, right? Isn't that kind of why it's a concern?
We make everybody look good. Here's the thing, though.
Well, there you go.
They gouged
so
us,
you are concerned.
They gouged us for a big run and a big pass. That's concerning. Cody Barton needs to be on the bench. It's concerning that Anthony Hill has not earned that position yet. He looked like the best player on the field last night, did he not? What are these rookies doing, man, that makes you what have the veterans earned that he couldn't skip him right now in the depth chart? Like, is there something about Cody Barton? Does he know where the bodies are buried? Like, is he something is he killing it, with the young guys? I don't know. Why is he still in the game? Because he made 2 bad plays last night, and I can think of 2 good plays Anthony Hill made by himself. So that's my concern. Like I said, I'm not super tripping. Get me to the end of the Jets game. I promise you, at the end of the Jets game, if it looks like this, I'll be the one screaming for Mitch. But we got to get to the Jets, man.
Oh, God. We actually have not had much of that today, but thanks for introducing it, Adam.
We've had some of it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me read Ed, because I love Ed. He says, no excuses, but are we perhaps underestimating the talent of second teams of 2 of the top teams in the NFL versus 3 were in first-team talent? I mean, maybe it's not that different. And I was like, yeah, man.
If you can't handle somebody's second team in the National Football League, I don't care who they are, that's not a good sign.
It's just not. This is not the Georgia Bulldogs against the Missouri Tigers. No, it's the NFL. Ed, normally I like your posts. This was off the mark like all of your NBA posts.
Wow. Didn't think he was going to take a shot there. No, I don't. That to me is more concerning than anything right now than what we've seen in the preseason. Forget the Ward stuff. We'll see. Ward, a lot of people today worry about the Ward Tate connection. We'll see what that looks like by the time the regular season comes around. But the fact that you have looked as lifeless at times as you've looked against San Francisco and Seattle's backups, that to me is pretty concerning about where things currently stand with the roster. And I think naturally when you see that, you look at it and you say, all right, so when regular season football comes around and you're going up against NFL starters, what's that going to look like by the time, I don't know, like the Jets. It's the Jets. I look at them on paper and I say, yeah, if you're the Titans and you're making the progress that you feel like you're making, the games at home, all these things, like you need to win that game. But the Jets still have some talent on the with their starters, right? Like, It's not like they're just completely devoid of talent out there. So you're going to have to play way better than we've seen them play in the game setting so far if you're going to win that game. And it's just the reality. I know we keep coming back to the Jets game this morning. Still a little ways to go before that, but man, I'm just already priming myself, man. They better not lose that game. Better not.
What are we talking? So we're talking. That's what's ridiculous.
It would be 3 weeks from today is the show that we would be doing in the aftermath. Of
okay, so it's 3 weeks from yesterday is a Jets game.
I believe so.
Got
right?
some work to do, boys.
Yeah, I believe so. Let's head back to the phone line. Welcome in Titan Jones to the show. Titan Jones, good morning.
What up, man?
How's it going?
Man, pretty bad. But listen, but this is what I want to say, man. So when I listened to the coach interview about we just went out there vanilla, we didn't really game plan. We just went out there and ran some plays. And then you got to go back and look at the other team. They basically game planned, and we probably was the only team that was really just out there just throwing the ball around, just hanging out. So it's like I can't really trip about it, and I'm not really tripping off the defense at all, man, because I feel like they will be tightened up when the season comes around. But I just want fans to know one thing, man. They keep on saying the defense, bro. It's for years we've been trying to get this offense together. Like I don't care if if the defense takes a step back, as long as this offense can step their game up, bro, I wouldn't mind the defense sucking. But it's been 35 years since we had a real offense. I'm gonna hang up on this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ty Jones, how's it going? It's pretty bad, man. It's not going well.
I have some responses to that call.
We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Keep up with training camp with 102.5 The Game for the latest updates, player interviews, and more as you get prepped for the upcoming football season. Coverage of training camp presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, and Tri-State Water, Power, and Air. We will have the Rob rant coming up here in about 10 minutes or so.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that'll be good. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Let's go to Neil on our phone line. Neil, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Joe, it's good to hear you back on the radio, brother.
Good. Thanks.
Hey, here's how I look at this. I'm not buying that it's only preseason, and the reason why that is that's our number one out offense and number one defense going against backups. Like, you should be able to put points on the board. There's not but one player that I think has even looked good, and that's Tony Pollard. And he looks like he's faster than he was last year. He looks amazing, and I think our run game's going to be okay. Though I think Spears, I would have put Tony Pollard in there or a bigger running back on that 4th and 1. But no, Cam, I watched one play. It's the one where he was throwing it to the right side, and me and my people watching it at the house were like, what the heck was that? He doesn't have good mechanics. He's not accurate. Yes, he can hit a 5-yard pass. Congratulations. But he just runs up in the pocket, and he just slings it. No foot planted, no anything. We drafted a bust, and I don't care. I'll say it. You should have took the Giants pick. Giants offer. There's nothing about Cam Moore that shows me that he's going to be an elite quarterback. He can't run. Hey, you're getting caught by linebackers. I wouldn't even throw that pass as a quarterback. Because, I mean, hit him in the fingertips. Then he underthrows Idolmatter. That wasn't a defensive pass. That was like, y'all remember that game a few years ago when Wentz kept underthrowing balls and the wide receivers had to stop trying to catch, and they kept calling defensive pass interference?
I do.
That's what that Idolmatter throw reminded me of. He's not accurate. Now, yeah, every now and then he's going to have a pass. You're going to be like, that's a dog. Look at him. He runs around like a chicken with his head cut off. Then he slings it. That's not going to win you games. And I'm serious. If I'm Borgonzi right now, I'm scared. Because, hey, that you got to solidify the quarterback. Did you solidify it? Because I don't think you did.
Well,
so if I was him, I might be trying to trade for Mac Jones or hoping that maybe Baker Mayfield leaves Tampa and you can sign him. Because I'm going to tell you, Cam Moore ain't that guy. And he's not going to get any better. I don't think they worked on anything mechanically with him. You can't throw the ball without having your feet set all the time and expect it to be accurate. And that's what scares me about Cam. Now, I like him. He's a great person. And I hope that he does well because I am a Titans fan. I bleed for my blue. But I'm just going to call it. I don't think we're going to win even 4 games this year. And that's the honest truth. I don't see it.
Appreciate
it. All right, thanks, guys. Yep. Appreciate y'all.
I have heard, seen a couple texts for Baker today. People monitoring Baker Mayfield the situation very closely.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Well, look, there's a lot to sort through on that call there. I would say the footwork part of it, the mechanics is something we talked about last year. That's got to get better. Now, I will say, I guarantee they've worked on it with him. But it's just like anything else. There's a difference between going through an off season, working on it in practice, working on it with drills, and then playing actual football, right?
And not reverting to bad habits, to old mechanics, all that stuff. Yes, exactly.
And I do think there have been a couple times in the preseason where you watch him throw and he just looks off balance a little bit. And that leads to some of the sailing that we've seen. And look, I don't know. Is he ever going to be perfect in that? I mean, there are plenty of guys around the league. I mean, look, you want to talk about mechanics. There are some passes that Jordan Love throws off the back of his foot that he somehow makes work. But if you look at it optically, you're like, oh, that looks horrible. Like, how do you do that? But the ball gets where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't have to be perfect on your mechanics all the time to be a good quarterback in the NFL. But clearly that's something that, the ball just kind of sailing on him like it did a lot last year. That's something that he's got to get dialed in on a more consistent basis.
Yeah. I mean, but I disagree that we don't know. I don't. I don't think anybody knows what the outcome will be with Cam Ward. There's just too many examples in this league, especially now, of thinking somebody is, and then all of a sudden, a couple years later, you look up and you're like, oh wow, I had no idea. The caller before, by the way, saying, I mean, I actually kind of agree with the idea of Titans Jones, like, defense suck. Can we just have some offense this year? I mean, we've been talking about that, at least be entertaining.
Yeah.
But he said, I mean, 2020, it was only 6 years ago. This was arguably the best offense in the NFL. They scored 31 points a game. Ryan Tannehill had an incredible year. Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards. A.J. Brown dominated games. They had Corey Davis. They had Jonnu Smith. Like, it was 6 years. I'm just saying, like, it hasn't been never. I'm trying to bring back the good old days from
That's
only
correct.
6 years ago. Last night, Jonathan Billman was like, yeah, Jeff Simmons wants to get back. 8 years ago, he was in the AFC title game. I'm like, 8 years? What the heck are you talking? And then I was like, God, it was 7, though. It was 7 seasons ago. Whew.
Yeah, you talk about somebody that I don't think is very good. I did not enjoy Jonathan Billman.
Well, just, a little bit too optimistic about everything. It's okay. Like, some things aren't good. Some guys make bad plays.
Well, he also, like, 3 times was just like, you need your 2s and 3s to be at the same level as your 1s. It's like, well, what world do you live in where your 2s and 3s are the same level as your 1s? I guess unless you're playing the Titans, maybe your 2s and 3s are the same level as the 1s.
Yeah, but Seahawks may think that about their 2s and 3s after yesterday.
They might. 615-737-1025. The Rob Rant coming up next.
Oh, boy.
Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
102.5 The Game. You come for sports takes, you stay for gout updates.
I mean, it's a funny disease.
It absolutely destroyed my stomach.
The diarrhea?
My body feels great.
Would you rather have foot pain, gout, or torn up stomach?
Do you think you have ownership of the word dookie?
Didn't this guy just say he was one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league and he can't roll out to the right and stay on his feet out there? What's going on?
Two blobs just kind of rubbing against each other.
I can take some pictures.
Good gracious. It is time for the Rob Rant here on the program, served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville. We welcome your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Let's get into the Deshaun Watson situation.
Oh, boy.
In Cleveland, which has taken a very interesting turn over the weekend. As we know, as you all know, that have paid attention to football and the NFL, it's not gone well for Deshaun Watson since going to Cleveland and signing the fully guaranteed contract and all the massage stuff that we talked about forever here on this program, and just very creepy behavior from Deshaun Watson. And then he's in the midst right now, Joe, of a quarterback competition with himself and Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland this year with Todd Monken as coach. It did not go well for Deshaun Watson in the preseason game this weekend against Buffalo. He was 5 of 12 for 36 yards, a quarterback rating of 14.6. Which is horrific. And the people of Cleveland let him know about it. He was booed a lot for the people who actually stuck around and got through the lightning delay and all these things in Cleveland this weekend. And Deshaun Watson, after the game, very interesting press conference. Here's what Deshaun Watson had to say.
Man, I didn't have no reaction. I think the biggest thing is I think you guys know too, and I think the whole world knows it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that. So I think that's it's a disrespectful thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep whatever I feel with me and my family internally on how I feel about that. And yeah, just move on.
But don't you think, Deshaun, that winning and playing better would eliminate some of that booing?
Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So does that have to do with, what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
Does any of that make you regret coming here?
No, I don't regret anything in my life. You know, I think the Lord put me through situations for a reason. So I don't regret anything at all. But, you know, I had different thoughts on how it was going to be, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes, you know, the tables turn, and I'm patient enough because I'm a child of God to, you know, wait for that time to change. So I'm not tripping on it.
So that was Deshaun Watson in his press conference this weekend. I have several thoughts on this, Joe, so let me just go ahead and roll off. First, not to divulge into a theological conversation here, let's try to keep God out of it. Let me just give you some general life advice for somebody whose Christian faith is very important to me. Your bad choices does not equal God putting you through situations. So let me start there, okay? Your bad choices, you don't get to blame on God putting you through a situation. So let's start on that front. Beyond that, it is amazing to me sometimes the world that these people live in that is just so absent from reality that I don't even know where to start. First off, yeah, some of it is personal because of your insane behavior that you've put on display that is well documented at this point, that as far as I can tell, you've never even really taken responsibility for. So let's start there on Deshaun Watson. Secondly, yeah, buddy, it is performance related because you probably ought to walk around the city of Cleveland with a ski mask on at all times, given how much money you've stolen out there, how awful you've been. And look, they gave you the contract, so good on you for getting the contract. It's Cleveland's fault for doing it. It's amazing to me that they gave you a fully guaranteed contract, but that's what he did. So whatever, that's fine. He has been objectively terrible from the moment he set foot in the organization it really is kind of amazing when you look at it because he was a really good player in Houston. All the other stuff aside, he was a really good player, and he has been horrific ever since he stepped foot in the door in Cleveland. But if you think honestly that like if you're Deshaun Watson, that if you had been a quarterback of the Browns and you had played really well, that you'd be getting booed or that people would be cheering when you tore your Achilles, which again, I don't love that either. Like I don't love cheering when people are hurt. But the reality is if Deshaun Watson ends up being the starting quarterback for the Browns this year and he goes out there and he throws for 5 touchdowns in the game and they start 3-0, the Browns fans are going to cheer him. You're getting booed because you suck. That's what it is. Like that's, and the fact that you just can't see that, or maybe he can see it and just doesn't want to admit it is amazing to me. And I heard that press conference, Joe, and my thought was, I mean, I already kind of felt this way anyway, but now it's like you cannot start him if you're the Cleveland Browns. Like there's no way that you can start him now after that just debacle over the weekend.
I would hope that is off the table now. And one, because he was bad. He's been bad. I don't understand it anyway. Like these fans, he's right. You know, when you cheer someone when they get hurt, that's not cool. Some of the same exact people showed up with freaking massage tables at your debut because they don't give a crap. They just want you to be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
If you were good, they would totally support you. You have stunk. That's why. That is why. And also, I think they're booing. I think they're booing the organization partially because it's like, no,
what are you doing?
I don't want to see him. I want Shador at least play the kid. Yeah, you would hope this ended. It's one of the most delusional presses I've ever heard. And like you said, the whole, and there was other stuff too where he's like, you know, I've done all this charity work. Like, yeah, man, that's great. Okay. Like you said, you've never taken responsibility. At the very least, to be the kindest you can possibly be, you're a weird sex stalker. That's like, we'll take all the sexual assault allegations out of it. Just that alone, that's documented. It's nasty. It's gross, man. And it happened. And so, yes, that's a big part of this too. But again, these Cleveland fans, some of the idiots were like, who gives a crap? It's just he's going to be a winning quarterback for us. I mean, I don't even like, he should never take another snap for the Browns. It would be a terrible idea. And some of the stuff Todd Monken said afterward, maybe he doesn't want to be reactive in the moment, I guess. I'm hoping that's what it is, but he has to know, like, this ended it, right?
I mean, I would hope so. Otherwise, like, not a very good reading of the room going on from him. I mean, I guess the good thing for the Browns is they start the first 2 games of the year on the road. Like, they're at Jacksonville and at Tampa Bay, so they don't play at home until week 3. Because, I mean, if they were starting the year at home, and you think he was booed in the preseason game, think about, you know, a regular season game with him as your starting quarterback right now. And look, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Browns fans are all that excited about Shador Sanders either. Like, I think a lot of them are already looking forward to like the draft next year when they go ahead and pick their next quarterback.
Right.
But like, it's the combination of just, he's not a good player and he's not going to all of a sudden turn into a good player at this stage. It's been a long time since Deshaun Watson has played any semblance of good football in the NFL. That's not just going to magically change this year. So the combination of that and just the total, I mean, I don't know if you could handle that any worse if you're Deshaun Watson. Like, just the total failure to accept reality. There's no way you can start him moving forward if you're the Browns. But it's the Browns, so they probably will.
I mean, that would truly be amazing. By the way, Shador, he was at his presser. I thought he handled it really well. I mean, he said, I don't like fans booing him. I mean, I thought he, you know, without like ripping the fans, I thought he handled it well. And I think he looks better too. I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, and the other, like, organizationally, I don't know if they feel like they've got to play Deshaun Watson because they're paying him a lot of money, but I mean, goodness, you're almost at the end of it now. Just eat it.
That's those days existed previously.
Yeah. I mean, and there's Monken, and look, I get it. Like, Todd Monken's not exactly a spring chicken out there. It's not like he's going to be a head coach of the NFL for that long. And I'm sure he wants to win. First off, I think you could make the argument they got a better chance to win with Shador Sanders as their quarterback.
I think so.
Secondly, I mean, even if you feel like Deshaun Watson gives you a little bit better of a chance to win, you know that it's not going to be like, you're not winning the division with Deshaun Watson as your quarterback. So don't you at least need to see what you've got in Shedeur Sanders? I mean, it's also hilarious. Like Dylan Gabriel's not even a thought in this thing anymore, which makes it amazing that he was drafted in the 3rd round by Cleveland here. It's just it's a total mess up there. And it's par for the course for the Cleveland Browns, but it is just amazing how this whole thing continues to play out. And that Watson press conference was just borderline unbelievable this weekend.
That's one of the wildest I've seen. And it's like someone's so detached from reality. And again, just to me, ended any should. And I think it was trending toward him starting, right? I mean, he went up there and basically ended his chances. I think
they palmed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like pulled the clip.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Cory Curtis will be with us at 8:15 on the program today for his weekly visit. We will continue to take your reaction to the Titans preseason win against the Seahawks coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, taking your reaction to the Titans and their game last night, preseason game number 2. Against the Seattle Seahawks. Cory Curtis will be with us. Normally at 8 o'clock, he'll be with us here in about 15 minutes. At 8:15, we'll get his impressions on what he saw from the Titans last night. We will continue to take your reaction to the Titans at 615-737-1025. We do have some breaking news to pass along. Not that this is necessarily surprising, but it is now Pete Thamel official, which is pretty reliable. Pete Thamel of ESPN has put it out there. Quote, sources, Tennessee has named true freshman Faison Brandon the starting quarterback. He'll debut for the Vols against Furman coming up on September the 5th. Brandon, former top 10 overall recruit, 5-star for the Vols. So Faison Brandon has been named the starting quarterback for Tennessee. Joe, your quick reaction to that, and I will get pretty heavily in that on tomorrow's show, but your quick reaction to Faison Brandon being named the starter for the Vols.
Yeah, well, the people who were adamant about this all along, probably from the spring, were right. Early on, you heard, George McIntyre making a push. I think he's a talented guy. I think we're going to see George McIntyre starting at a Power 4 program at some point in his career. You hope that what this means is Brandon's talent is just undeniable, and it's time to get going with them, and you have to be ready for a true freshman in the SEC. It's not easy. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be probably some ups and downs, but you also should be pretty excited, I think, as a Vols fan about the possibility of what you could have with him and having a possible starting quarterback for this many years with Josh Heupel. It's what we thought was going to happen with Nico. Nico got the benefit of that redshirt year. Faison Brandon does not get that benefit, but you might have something really special here if you can keep growing. In the way that Josh Heupel develops quarterbacks, it's a pretty good combination.
Yep, and we've talked about it. 2 young quarterbacks battling it out. One's going to win the job, and then you wonder what that means for the other one and their future moving forward here. But now the question is, how good is he? Right? How ready to play at a high level is Brandon right now? We'll get into that throughout the week and on tomorrow's show in pretty heavy detail. But Faison Brandon, the starting quarterback for Tennessee. So some breaking news to pass along on that front. Titans win yesterday 19-16 against the Seahawks. Did not go well for the starters. I think the offense for the starting offense, probably uninspired is the best way I would put it. I mean, it wasn't completely horrible. Like Ward didn't have a ton of big misses out there, but they just missed out on a couple of big plays. Like Tate got his fingers on a ball that he probably needs to come down with. Gunnar Helm did not get a second foot down on a play on the sideline. That throw wasn't perfect, could have been better, but also a play I'd like to see the starting tight end get his feet in bounds on. Ward sailed one to Tate coming across the middle where he was pretty well covered on there. So, would have been a dangerous throw had he put it right on him. So, all in all, it wasn't bad from Cam Ward last night. But again, you're talking about a starting offense going up against backups from Seattle that really just didn't get anything done. And that's the bottom line. They just didn't do much out there. They had a couple of nice runs. They had a nice kind of a swing pass to Tony Pollard for 33 yards. That was the big play of the game last night for the Titans offense, but just not a whole lot going on. And defense, we talked about Cam Ward and kind of being a disaster in week 1 in the preseason. Well, the disaster yesterday was the starting defense. The starting defense against Drew Lock and the backups for Seattle just got shelled, quite frankly. I mean, there's a coverage bust. They give up a 30-plus yard touchdown, and then you allow basically a 70-yard run right up the gut against your starting defense with the backup Seahawks offensive line, and at that point, their third running back. It's not what you want to see from your starters yesterday.
No, the defense has been the bigger, I think, disappointment overall now since we've started to see the Titans actually encounter other teams. The offense got, like Cam was better, certainly, from preseason game 1 to preseason game 2. He was fine. You want better, absolutely. Some people are totally focused on Cam. It's Cam first, second, and third, and some people are already out on him. And if that's the case, you could use last night to. I mean, some people have reacted that way today. Like Cam stinks, and last night was more proof. I mean, to me, I thought he was okay. He was way down the list of issues, and he made some good plays. The defense is, I don't know, man. The secondary, we talked about corners after the first game. Now, to me, the safeties were really, your starting safeties. And that tandem is obviously very important. And you had a bust on the 1 touchdown pass, and you had just terrible angles and fits all across the board in the second and third level on the touchdown run. Plus your defensive line, which is supposed to be the strength of the team, missing one key guy, but pushed around too much by a backup offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's not what you're looking for in the preseason. I mean, if you're going to play the starters, particularly if the starters end up going against the backups, like you need to see them perform much better than they have to this point. Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Mark in Nashville to the program. Mark, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safari. How y'all doing, man?
Hey, buddy. Good, Mark. What's going on?
Joe, I listened to y'all talking earlier about Deshaun Watson. It's really a shame, man, how I thought he was going to be a superstar back in the day, 4 scores 7 years ago, man. I mean, that's what I called him. I thought he was going to be an elite superstar in this league, and he's never really taken accountability for the things that happened off or transpired off the field. And the comments he made the other day, you probably can't really, like Robby said, you probably can't start this guy now, man. You just have to eat the money and go on. You can't cut him because they'd be, over $120 million on the cap, from what I've heard. So you're going to have to hold on to him. But Shedeur is that guy now, and I'm looking forward to that, see what Shedeur can do. But last night, Joe, I saw some things missing with the Titans. I saw that Cam doesn't really have a connection with Tate as he should by now, or Ridley. He was way off on several of his throws. Helm, that was a good catch, but he really, I don't think, kept his feet in bounds. Pollard had a good run, but I just don't think Cam's on the same page with his 2 guys, his number 1 and 2 wide receiver right now, and he's going to have to get that together. And the defense didn't look that good either, man. Like Robby said, they got gashed last night. That's not a good look. Saleh's supposed to be this defensive guru. He needs to get that fixed with the Tennessee Titans. But other than that, it was a pretty good game. They ended up winning the game, but that's just preseason. But hey, Joe, Robby, y'all have a good day, man. I just wanted to holler at y'all for a minute.
Appreciate you, man.
I'll see y'all later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see you, Joe.
All right, buddy.
I'm not worried about Tate. I'm really not. Like, I think I understand you would have liked to have seen them through 2 preseason games. Get a catch. That'd be nice at some point here to get that going. I still like Tate as the season goes along. I think he's going to turn into a pretty good player. So we'll see what happens on that front. Ridley, I don't really know what to make of Ridley right now.
We haven't heard much about him at all.
Heard much about him, and I just, at this stage of his career, what's he going to be able to give you this year? I mean, obviously, the conversation starts with the quarterback, right? Like, how good is Cam Ward going to be? Because some of it is reliant on the skill positions, and we feel like he's in a much better spot there than he was a year ago. We've talked about his mechanics today. We've talked about, throws that get away from him. It is the preseason. You got to keep that in mind in terms of the game planning and all those things. I just think uninspiring is the word I keep coming back to with the offense at this point. It's just been very uninspiring through the first 2 preseason games. And it's not the end of the world. It doesn't automatically project a failure by the time the regular season comes around. But I do think as a Titans fan who, going into Ward's second year, you brought in Robinson, you drafted Tate. Yeah, there was some concern about the offensive line. I think the offensive line, based on what we've seen to this point in the preseason, is probably in a better spot than anybody anticipated. And everything else is way behind what they anticipated to this point, at least in the games that we've seen. So that's where things currently stand with the offense in my mind.
Yeah, on the receivers, I have a take. It may be hot. It may be warm. I think Alec Ironman is going to overtake Ridley. I think he's going to get more production, more targets this year than Ridley. I think Ridley's on the decline. And the Tate thing, I said this earlier, but I think this is where practice can provide context that can be valuable. Remember 2 years ago, Levis and Ridley practice, can't connect, missing. It was right. I think it was 2 years. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then we saw that in preseason games. We saw it in real games. It was a real thing. Well, Ward and Tate have had some days of just lighting it up, again, secondary, but still, like, they seem to have chemistry. They seem to be on the same page. They seem to be making plays. So I wouldn't look at a handful of snaps and a couple targets in a preseason game and make a judgment. I think the practice context helps you calm down on that one. Whereas with Ridley, the practice contents fed it and was like, see, this is a consistent daily thing that's missing.
That's a good point. 615-737-1025. Cory Curtis from News 2 will be with us for his weekly visit coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. We head to our phone line. Welcome in Cory Curtis to the program, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Cory, good morning. How are you?
Oh, Robert, I am a delight. I am stoked and ready to go.
Well, you had a little late night football last night for the Titans in preseason game number 2. That is now 2-0 for the Tennessee Titans in the preseason. So keep that in mind.
I think they're 7-1 in their last 8 preseason games.
They're a juggernaut.
You're darn right.
Juggernaut.
They're the Detroit Lions.
Oh, are you calling an O for this year?
But didn't they go 4-0 and then 0-16?
They did.
They sure did.
Maybe the most incredible accomplishment in history.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty good stuff. So very uninspiring from the starters last night, Cory, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the offense and look, I didn't think Ward was like bad in the game, but they just didn't get a whole lot done out there offensively. And the starting defense, I mean, you let Drew Lock just march up and down the field on you, score touchdowns, then you give up a 70-yard run right up the middle of your defense against Seattle's backup. So obviously that's not good. What's your concern level on both sides of the ball right now with the starters based on what we've seen in the games so far in the preseason?
Well, I mean, I think defensively, I know everybody's going to jump to Cam Ward, and I understand it, but I mean, the defense was supposed to be the strength of your football team. Everybody was like, oh, well, the defense, the offense is going to have to catch up, but the defense should keep them in games and give them a chance to compete, and see them, struggle the way they did has to be a little alarming. Obviously the touchdown to Arroyo's on a busted assignment, but then you give up the 69-yarder. And again, these are the backups, and, you had your starters out there. I mean, it's got to be alarming. Whatever's wrong it's got to get fixed. I mean, because that's certainly not good enough. And then, offensively, you would like to put some points on the board for sure. And, if you watch practice last week, a lot of what they did with that short passing game and taking what the defense gives you is what they worked out in practice. It was an extension of that. And, some of it was good. The ball to Tony Pollard where you give him an opportunity to run with it after he catches and he goes for 33 yards. And some of it's, not so good. Some plays that need to be made, some throws that need to be, a little bit better. 4th and 1, you run up the middle and you're going against backups. So you like to think your offensive line's going to win that battle. And then I also don't know if Tajay Spears is the guy I want to give it to on 4th and 1, but they did. And so there's, look, there's not about last night with the starters that you looked at. You said, wow, they're ready to go. I think that, that's the only good thing is that it's the preseason. And that, your hope is that, they're better in week 1 than they are right now, which is the way it's supposed to be.
On the defense, Cory, I'm, and this is an obvious reaction to what we saw last night, but I'm a little worried, and not just because of last night, if we're a little bit late on Amani Hooker and still a little bit early on Kevin Winston, and that combination is going to give you issues at safety this year.
Yeah, no, it could be. I mean, Hook's been in the league for a while, and, I think there was some drop-off to his play, last year. They are in a new system, so I don't know how much of it is that. And, Winston hasn't played a lot of football in the last 2 years. And so, he is, you watch him in practice, and it's clear, athletically, he's a special kind of player. But like you're talking about, is it still just too early for him where he's not that ready? Now, look, I don't see another option. Okay.
No.
I don't see somebody else on the roster just screaming, I'm going to take his job. And, you won 6 games in 2 years. I think you have to be prepared to take some lumps with some guys who you think are the future of your football team. But, they're called safety for a reason. And when they're not that, it can be a problem.
2 games in the preseason. I think it's 6 drives, Cory, for the starting offense. And they have not been able to get Carnell Tate a catch yet. I don't want to overreact to it. It's preseason. It's 6 drives. How much, I guess, do you worry about that right now with those 2, Ward and Tate, if you're a Titans fan?
Well, I mean, I think I've seen enough in practice to where I think they're going to get him the football. I'd like to see him get open. I'd like to see him create separation. I mean, because there hasn't been a ton of it, to this point. But everybody knows he's the first round pick. Everybody knows they want to give him the football, but he's going to have to rise to the challenge, and he's going to have to, get better when the lights, go on. But they all have to get better when the lights go on. But, for as easy as he made it look in practice at times, I think it's fair to say we all expected more in these first 2 preseason games. I think it's okay to be disappointed.
Which we were talking earlier, Corey, it always comes up, and it's context that's important, but not game planning, running base stuff. Like this is let's run some plays, let's evaluate guys, let's guys work together. But it's not the same as an actual game where you really dig in on the opponent and finding weaknesses and all that stuff. But with Tate, would you look at this week and this third preseason game as, there's a kid who, like, let's put some stuff in for him just to get him the ball and let him feel good before you actually get into a game week?
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to get the ball in his hands. I wouldn't want to go into that first game where, he couldn't catch a pass in 3 weeks against 3 teams of backups. I don't think confidence-wise that's a great look. And I think, what you're saying is true about the game planning and everything, but you're still starters against backups. And you'd like to think that in a vanilla situation, you dominate that, because it's not like Mike McDonald is, throwing the house at you with his backups, with all sorts of intricate schemes defensively. That door swings both ways. And, you'd like to think the 4th pick of the draft wins some of those battles. So some of it's on him. Yes, you've got a game plan, some, probably to make sure he gets the football. But, when he's playing a guy who's a 6th round draft pick from Idaho State, and I'm making that up, but that's generally who a lot of these guys are.
Idaho State taking strays.
He's got to win some of those battles. He's got to create some space, and he's got to create, good opportunities. You can argue whether he should have caught the ball on the sideline route or not. But they need more.
So have we officially reached the point, Corey, in the preseason where we are not only no longer worried, but somewhat excited about Joey Sly? I mean, he's been the star of the preseason so far. 4-4 yesterday.
Beast. Yeah. That first one, the 55-yarder, was it me or did that thing change directions 3 times?
It really kind of looked like it did. It was like a golf ball that just got caught up in the wind.
I'm like, where is that thing going? And it goes right down the middle. He's outside of the 2 for 4 at the team scrimmage of the blue and white game. He's looked excellent. I'd heard he was Bones Fossil's guy and he was never in jeopardy. And what was he, an 80-something% kicker last year?
Yeah, 85.
And he's got to be better than that, especially for a team that's not there yet, offensively. But I also don't want to get, where last year, where like once they crossed midfield, you're like, oh, thank God Joey Sly can give them a chance to score here. I'd rather see Joey Sly kicking more PATs. Too many field goals at this point. But you know what? If he has found a way to be more consistent, then he'll find a football team for a long time, and it'd be nice for the Titans to have that position locked down for a few years.
Why the heck is Hendon Hooker not getting some opportunities, darn it? This is my question.
Yeah.
Clutch moment, trying to seal the game. They let him throw the ball, dot. Absolute dot. And then we also watched Will Levis play last night.
That
Your
4th
thoughts?
and 1, that 4th and 1 quarterback sneak was one of the worst quarterback sneak efforts I've ever seen in my life.
That was not great.
He stood up and just kind of fell over. He looked like a tree.
I'm focusing on the
He's not getting enough reps in practice, Corey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, well, he's not getting any reps in practice, so that's true. Nice ball, big pass down and to seal the game. So good for him. Will,
is he gonna get cut?
His best moment was 4th and 2 on the run play. The thing is, like Will, like last week in practice, there were a couple times I thought he looked really good. I thought he was having some of his better practices, and it's like none of it's good enough with anybody right now. I just think that's safe to say. And I understand they're trying to build confidence, and you're not going to go to your podium after the game and say, we're terrible. But, it feels a little too rosy right now in the post game.
Hey, I'm with you. They won the game, too. That's the other thing. It's 7-1, like you pointed out, Corey. I mean,
that's right.
This preseason
7-1.
football. I'll go ahead and call my shot. They'll get to 8-1.
You know, like in the NBA, how they have like the early season tournament.
Yeah,
they could have a preseason, postseason.
I agree.
They should like a preseason playoffs.
They also should have a Titans preseason Ring of Honor, and Julius Chestnut is now
first team
cemented.
Yeah,
he is a preseason All-America. He always looks good. He always looks like he's strong. He runs the ball well. I mean, I'll say something. You guys are probably going to laugh at me, but I don't care. I think if you put Julius Chestnut, if you put Joey Chestnut in the backfield, you have a problem. But
gobbling up those yards.
He gobble yards and he'd eat the ball. But if you put Julius in the backfield for 17 games, I have no question he could be a 1,000-yard runner.
Yeah.
Number one, it's not that difficult. That's like 60 yards a game. But
easy.
He is a good runner of the football. He's low to the ground. He's strong. He keeps his balance. He lowers his pads. Is he spectacular? No, but I do like watching him play.
Chestnut and Kinsey, first two preseason inductions into the Hall of Fame.
Pass?
I don't think so.
No, he also held and
Hall of Fame is over.
He cost Chestnut about 30 yards last night with a hold that had no
bearing on the play.
Important. Yeah. Not good.
Not good. Corey, great stuff as always, sir. Thank you for taking time to be with us this morning, and we will talk to you next Monday.
All right, fellas, it was a joy. Thank you for pushing me back today.
Of course.
I'm doing my dadly duties. Say hi, Ava.
Hi.
Hey, Ava. Ava with us on the program this
driving
morning.
to school today. We were supposed to be done by now, but someone might have overslept.
There we go.
Their name rhymes with Schmeva.
Hey, it's the preseason in school too, kind of.
Right.
Okay.
It kind of is the preseason school. By the way, she's the starting kicker on the Woodland Middle School football team now, and we're all really proud.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Corey, thank you, sir.
All right.
Congrats.
Later, guys.
Cory Curtis brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. We'll react to what Corey had to say. Dan Orlovsky has weighed in with his thoughts on Cam Ward. And I got something that I noticed in last night's Titans game that kind of bothers me, and it has nothing to do with the actual football team. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. A lot of people weighing in today in the aftermath of the Titans game. We appreciate it. Keep it coming. I would describe the mood as poor, Joe Rexrode. Not a good mood after the Titans' performance last night.
There's a lot of legitimate complaints.
There are.
You know, a lot of legitimate complaints. So then we don't need like stuff like this text who says, does the coaching staff wearing hoodies in all caps during late August preseason games bother you like it does me? Huh?
I mean, like
we got lots of stuff to legitimately complain about here.
Down the list.
Yes. Sorry, it's amazing. We were actually going to spend the rest of the show on their hoodies.
I did joke about earlier, if they suck this year, very quickly into the year, we're going to get maybe if Saleh spent less time running the stairs before the game and more time in the film room, they'd be better.
Oh, yeah. We'll get that. We would, and seed oils will be brought up again.
Oh, yeah.
So you can count on that.
It's going well so far. The no seed oils in the preseason games.
Maybe a little bit of nice sesame seed oil would, cause fewer miscommunications. I don't know.
Maybe so. Dan Orlovsky, who we talked about last week, his evaluation of Cam Ward, which Titans fans did not like. He was asked about Cam Ward and his performance through the preseason this morning on Get Up on ESPN. Here's what Dan Orlovsky had to say.
I'm not worried about him, but I don't feel great right now. It's very uninspiring through 2 weeks, the disconnect that he's had with really both of his receivers. I've mentioned it in the highlight. The Carnell Tate connection just has not happened. We haven't seen Ridley have a connection. There's misses. And so the only receiver that he's shown, at least through 2 weeks in the preseason game-wise, to have that good connection with has been Wan'Dale Robinson, their free agent signing.
Their segments now.
That John Tesh? Hitting the synth?
The music bringing up the mood there a little bit, but Orlovsky kind of using the same phrase because we know he listens to this show that we've been using the whole morning. Uninspired is what we've seen so far from Cam Ward and the Titans offense.
Fair word. Yes. Yeah. I mean, Dan Orlovsky typically, I'd say, tends to be positive, tends to be a supporter of quarterbacks.
I would agree.
Turning into a little bit of a Cam hater. What does it mean?
I would agree. All right, let's get to the part of this that really has nothing to do with the football team that bothers me a little bit. And a friend of mine pointed this out at the game last night. So I did not go to the game last night. I watched it on TV. But a buddy of mine was there. And he's like, isn't it kind of weird that they've gone through all this like rebrand? So they've done their logo rebrand. They've got new jerseys, which, by the way, look very good. The home jerseys on the field last night, I thought looked great. But you got a new logo. You got new jerseys. You got a new stadium coming. And it just kind of feels like you're trying to step away from like the old Greek mythology stuff. And you're kind of leaning away from like that look and those jerseys. And yet we still have to hear this ridiculous, stupid, "Ow! Ow! Ow!" after every time they pick up a first down. Like, does anybody want that? Does anybody want like the Sparta chant going on after the Titans pick up a first down? And if we're leaning away from the Greek mythology stuff, we'll take that away. Why are we leaving that? But we're getting rid of everything else.
It's interesting. I never would have made the connection of uniforms with that thing, but you're right. I mean, they're going like, I guess, post Oilers now instead of Titans.
Also, after I know that there hadn't been very many first downs, so maybe people aren't as tired of it as you probably could be. But after about the fourth one of those, I'm like, okay, can we stop with that? Let's come up with something else after they get a first down.
So the first time I ever heard that was at Michigan State, because of course they're the Spartans. And I think they still do it. Because it was after the movie came out.
300.
Yeah, after 300 came out. So they do it before a third down for the opponent.
Okay.
So it's like this big third down, third and 9. And then they say, so it's like you're trying to freak out the opponent. Here, it's if you get a first down.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know. Do people like that? Like, if are a Titans fan who goes to games, do you enjoy taking part in that? Do you enjoy listening to that, or would you like that to die?
Well, I just don't understand. Like, if you're going to get away from like the Greek mythology stuff and your uniforms and your branding, I'll just leave that one though. I'll just leave that on third down.
Every first down seems a bit much, right? Like, how thrilled are you going to get for every single first down? Oh, it's 4th and 3rd and 1, and you get a 1-yard run. Are we supposed to be like super enthused? First down, like every time.
There's somebody but if you are selective. It's hard to, you know what I mean? You kind of have to
all or nothing.
There's somebody though in the stands though, maybe multiple somebodies that every time that thing comes on, they're just standing to their feet and just going, "Oh, yeah, first down, way to go!"
I mean, you can hear it, so there's definitely some participation. We got a texture who says, "I want to keep the chant." So,
okay.
I mean,
I just those two things don't add up to me.
Yeah, well, they also have like, they had a beaver as a raccoon for, so I mean.
By the way, I didn't see any photos of that last night. Was the new T-Rack out there and available, or are they saving that bad boy for the regular season?
I don't know.
I never saw him on the broadcast.
Never saw him in the yeah. We had everything else. We had, Krista Thompson and Julian Edelman, talking about Broadway cowboy boots, and Mike Pereira's talking for a half hour straight about his favorite rules in the NFL, but no T-Rack. T-Rack gets no love at all.
Yeah, I need somebody to tell me who was at the game last night whether or not the new T-Rack was out there and visible, or if they're saving that for the regular season.
Let us know. Did anybody see T-Rack? Did he fist bump Andrew?
Final thoughts on the Titans preseason game yesterday. Preseason game number 2, a 19-16 win against the Seahawks. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. This Friday, come hang out with us at T-Line in West Nashville as we celebrate 102.5 The Game's 15th anniversary. Also, we have gifts that will be given away every hour starting at 6 a.m. Preds tickets, Vandy tickets, concert tickets, and more. Be sure to stop by T-Line, get signed up for a chance to win Nashville Predators season tickets. For more information, visit theGameNashville.com/birthday. We have had people on the text line today point out that hockey season not that far away.
Yeah,
after
we
watching the Titans
have.
yesterday.
That will be a totally fine, happy time.
Yeah.
No complaints.
No questions about them heading into the year.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Nothing but winning.
Let's welcome
All I do
in.
is win, win,
by the
win.
way, T-Rack, multiple people have pointed out T-Rack was out there last night, visible. Some debate as to whether or not it was creepier in person.
Matthew says yes.
So good to see. Work out some of the kinks.
I mean, again, whenever I see a raccoon during the day, I get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Was a night game last night.
That's true.
It's true.
So we might be okay on the rabies.
But now that's it for prime time for the entire year. So
better get that coffee ready to go if you're gonna watch the Titans the rest of the year, because that'll be when it happens. Let's welcome in Luke to the program on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Luke, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I totally agree with you on the Spartan chant on first downs. I think it's pretty funny, and I think we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot when we don't get more than 2 first downs and a half, right? You're missing out on the whole opportunity to make it a big deal. And for what it's worth, I'm a little still confused by the Tighten Up chant. Like, are we making that a slow clap cadence? I don't think anybody really knows what we're supposed to do when they're trying to get us into that. But I'm with you there. The one thing I did want to say about the game last night is my biggest concern is not so much the play on the field schematically, you know, with it being a preseason game and all that. I think it's the discipline out there. I feel like that's a culture thing, right? You've got a touchdown called back with a penalty. You got an interception called back with a penalty. You got a bunch of third down stops with taunting, face mask, illegal contact, and PI. You know, it's tough being a young, inexperienced team, and then you can't get out of your own way. And I wonder what level of accountability that's going on there when that's happening. Because if you take those away, I think the score looks totally different. And hopefully they can work on that the rest of the way. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Have
Thanks,
a great
Luke.
day.
Appreciate it. Yeah, like, first off, some of the penalties, I mean, the Kinsey one's a perfect example. I mean, it just has no bearing on the play. There's no reason to be doing it. Like, Oladejo that was the most violent face mask I think I've ever seen. That face mask call, like, I thought he ripped his head off. I was like, good grief.
That was intense.
I mean, and to some degree, face masks, they're going to happen. It's a mistake. You're trying to make a play, whatever. The illegal contact penalty we've talked about that took the interception off the board. I thought that was a horrible call. I think it was a bad call on Flott.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a mixed bag on the penalties.
Yeah, when you talk about discipline with penalties, to me, it's undisciplined penalties. Like, you're going to have a holding. I mean, especially if you're a bad offensive lineman. A bad offensive lineman got called for holding. So I don't look at that as like a culture discipline thing. Now, you could look at Cedric Gray, and you could either think, now there's an example of you got called for taunting, and you screwed yourself over. Now, I would also look at that and say, really? That was a 15?
Give 2 thumbs down.
But that kind of a play is what you're talking about. Also, as Terry McCormick asked Sal about the penalties last night, and the Titans had 11 for 100. Well, the defending Super Bowl champs, whose backups kicked your butt, had 14 for 129. So that's 25 penalties for 229 yards between the teams, more for the Seahawks. So is that both teams undisciplined? Is that the refs going a little nuts, maybe?
There is – I do think a little bit of a ref show happens in the preseason. And some years it's because they're trying to overemphasize one thing in the preseason, so they try to knock it out of you by the time the regular season comes around. I don't know that this is that, but I just think, it's preseason for the refs too. I didn't think yesterday was a particularly well officiated game. So I don't know, like preseason flag. It just feels like every preseason football game, there's a ton of flags out there. I don't have the stats behind that. That's just from the preseason football I watch. It always feels like there's a flag fest out there to some degree.
Like a few years ago, getting people ready for some of the QB roughing,
Yes.
limitations that they were raising the bar.
Well, and remember,
for
like
example.
the false start thing they tried to emphasize a couple years ago, where like if you're the right tackle, that first game or this Kansas City, it's just
he was just like he started a second before everybody else.
Every time. Like they tried to emphasize some of that. So in the preseason, they were throwing false start penalties all over the place. It's like, okay, so I feel like by the time the regular season comes around, they relax on that and they just call games like they always do. But it always kind of does feel like there's a flag fest in the preseason.
Yeah. I don't know that. I mean, I think poor play, uninspiring play, lack of talent. These are things that I'd worry about. I don't know that I see like a culture discipline thing right now. Again, we'll see. I mean, they're getting in fights in the joint practices, but doesn't everyone?
Yes. So
I will say someone has made a point. We have talked before about we're comparing preseason games to joint practices. What's more important? Well, joint practices are more important, because that's 1 versus 1. Darnold played in those, right? So the Titans did apparently, played really well in that joint practice. And the preseason game, they stunk in many areas. So what's more important?
I don't know. I mean, I hear
It's
you on
all-
the joint
it's all
practice thing.
preseason.
It's all preseason. So at the end of the day, how much does any of it really matter? At some point, regardless of if you're a joint practice, a practice against your own team, you're going to have to be able to take something and carry it over to an actual game. I mean, that's going to have to be what it is. And so far, through 6 offensive series, they just looked blah out there. And sometimes they've just looked bad out there. So that part of it's got to change. And I will say, like the defense, I'm not worried about Jeffrey Simmons. I'm not worried about John Franklin Myers. And I don't know what to think of like the guys coming off the edge and what that's going to translate into from a pass rushing perspective heading into the year. I am worried about secondary, like just flat out. I'm worried about the secondary, that it could just be bad back there. And if that's the case, I mean, the Titans, they're just going to struggle on defense. And then we're probably talking about 4 or 5 wins. It's like, oh, great, cool.
You're going that high?
Oh, maybe not.
Very optimistic of you. Yeah, I still believe that the formula for this team is going to be running the football, playing good defense. Hey, Joey Sly, that's a big deal.
Keep it going.
It really is. Like if he's going to get on a heater this year and you can feel good at the 40, and in, I mean, that's like they're going to have a lot of field goal opportunities this year, and probably not as many extra point opportunities as you want. So I think that's the formula, is to win 19 to 16 games and 23 to 21 games. But yeah, if the secondary is going to be a mess, then that's not a great thing when that's how you're going to have to win games.
No. So that part of it kind of freaks me out a little bit about the Titans. Look, bottom line is there's a lot to work on between now and that Jets game, right? I mean, that's clear. There's a ton that they're going to have to get better at over the next couple of weeks. And I know it's the Jets, but I mean, we're starting to get to the point where you start to kind of turn one eye to that game, and it's like, all right, it's not that far away. We've officially reached that point in camp here, and there's a lot of work left to be done.
But first, another exciting joint practice and preseason game.
We do have a little bit of NFL breaking news here from Jordan Schultz.
Okay.
The Browns have named a starting quarterback.
Oh, yeah?
It better be freaking Shador.
It's Watson.
What? Oh, boy. Are you kidding me?
Shador will be the backup.
Dude, Todd Monken is I've wanted to root for Todd Monken, even though he sounds just like Marty Funkmeyer from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's per Jordan Schultz. So I don't know if it's from the team exactly, but he's putting that out there.
Nice. What are they doing? Oh my, that organization. You know what, Titans fans?
Take
heart.
Man. Yeah.
Take heart that you are not a Cleveland Browns fan. I mean, how tone deaf can you be?
Also, like, have you watched him play football?
He's not
Give
good
me one
at
thing
all.
If he was good. Good grief.
I mean, like, again, it's a preseason game, but like Shador Sanders, I mean, he played better than him the other day. He's young. He's not just a completely delusional weirdo.
I'm sure that'll go over well. Sure, that'll be nice.
Yeah, that's going to be well received.
Yeah.
Talk about the mistake by the lake.
Woo, boy. That does it for us today. We'll have you covered all day long here on 102.5 The Game. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is coming up next.